And what is up, guys? Welcome back to Acceleracers Hub for another video. So today we have something a little bit different. So last night I was kind of looking through some of my oldest eBay purchases back in like the end of 2019, the early 2020, when I really started buying and selling on eBay a little bit and starting to recollect some Accelerator stuff. And I was looking at some of the prices and I was like, man, it is just night and day the difference in the prices from then to now. So I figured what we're going to do in this video today is we're going to be taking a look back at some of my purchases from the end of 2019, 2020, and some of the deals that I found on eBay, some of my best purchases, some of my worst purchases. We're going to be going back and taking a look at it. And I'm not going to be going through every single purchase because nobody wants to see me buying lots of 10 Acceleracers cards over and over and over again. But I will go through and stop on some of my most monumental mistakes and some of my best purchases, and we'll just sort of go through and take a look at it. So let's jump right into it. So through most of the early parts of 2020, it looked a lot like this. There's another eBay seller named Cucumbers that was selling a lot of Acceleracers cards. He was the one that bought most of the packs before I really came onto the scene. So he sold a lot of lots, you know, with 17 different realm cards with one foil, because I think he opened the packs hunting for 3D foils. So he sold all of his duplicates for pretty cheap, and this was sort of the going price, you know. It was $13 for 17 realm cards and one foil. So I mean, one foil realm card, and for some reason, it won't let me make these pictures bigger because it's been over like 90 days since the purchase. But there was a foil reactor realm in here, which is like a $25 card now, plus 16 other realm cards. I mean, I see the fog realm, the wind realm in there. And so this is probably like, you know, $40 or $50 worth of cards that I bought for like 13 bucks. It just, the prices were just night and day different since now and then. I mean, here's a bunch of them, you know, I used to buy them in bulk, 16 silencers cards with a foil. Just look at that, 15 bucks, 15 bucks. These are all near mint pack fresh cards. And then we come to the first big monumental purchase. Was the first time I bought booster pack. It was this 9 Acceleracers 15 card booster pack lot, and I won it for $202.50, but it came out to like $225 after taxes and shipping. But unfortunately, these were the infamous first booster packs that I opened, where I opened all 9 of them and I didn't pull a single 3D foil, guys. It's funny, I've done so many pack openings where I've opened 3 and 4 booster packs and I've pulled 3D foils. I opened 9 of them. That's like 3/4 of a case and I didn't pull a single 3D foil. I was so heartbroken after that. You guys have no idea. So that was probably one of my biggest early flops, because at the time, the individual Acceleracers cards weren't selling for that much. So if you didn't pull a 3D foil, you weren't going to make a whole lot of money off of it. Because I mean, these days you've got cards that are commons and uncommons that can sell for $2 to $3 a piece. But back then it was not like that at all. So I pretty much effectively blew $225 buying those booster packs. So that was a pretty bad purchase on my part at the time. But obviously there's the flip side of that, because if I would have pulled a bunch of 3D foils, I would have made a bunch of money. But needless to say, I did not. So we lost some money there. So moving on here, there we go. There's an Acceleracers card game starter set, sealed with the synchro for $42. What are they these days? Like $200, $160? Crazy, crazy stuff. Bought lots of single Acceleracers. This was the point in time where I was trying to buy as many Cov Lights as possible so that I could get some Cov Light cards, and I was getting them for 10 and 12 bucks a piece, and I just could not get a Cov Light card. But there's another Cov Light. You can tell I had a bad Cov Light gambling habit. Got 102 cards with 5 foils for 100 bucks. Cov Light. I bought a lot of 22 Acceleracers cards that were carded for $180. So back then, I mean, shoot, if you could get Acceleracers cards for like 10 bucks a piece, it was a pretty good deal. Got a baseline. There's another Cov Light. And this was a big one right here. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. This one right here, it was an Acceleracers lot of 30 cards for $270. That was another big one. I wish I could zoom in and show you guys the individual cards that were in there. Unfortunately, for some reason, these older purchases that I made, eBay kind of deletes the listings after a while, so I wasn't able to pull up this lot, because I was going to go through and sort of show you what was in the lots that I was buying, but I don't think I'll be able to do that on second thought. But anyways, this lot was like 29 pretty common Acceleracers and then a Flathead Fury card. And I think at the time it was pretty common for people to list 30, 40 Acceleracers in a lot, but they're normally common. So I did see the Flathead Fury and I didn't think many other people saw it. So I made an offer and I got it for like $270 total, right? But I think with tax it came out to like $300. But so I opened the 29 other cards and I pulled maybe 5 or 6 foil cards. We had a really good pack opening. Me and my girl opened all 29 of them. And then I sold the Flathead Fury individually for like 70 bucks after that. So we did end up making a pretty sizable profit on that with all the foil cards that we pulled. But that just goes to show back in the day, so this was May 7th, 2020. And that's like a year and 2 or 3 months ago. And I sold a Flathead Fury for $70 and it was carded. And these days, a Flathead Fury is like $280. It is like quadrupled in price. But let's keep going. So about a week later, I ended up purchasing 18 Acceleracers, 15 card booster packs with a starter card game set. I actually don't think that starter set was a part of it. It was just the 18 booster packs for $850. It came out to like $900 once taxes and everything were accounted for. But that was the first big 18 booster packs that I bought. And this was the beginning of me starting to buy the booster packs as soon as I could find them, because after I closed this deal, I did open those 18 booster packs. That was the first pack opening I did on the channel. I think it was like my second or third video on the channel that I was opening up these 18 packs. And I did pull, I think, 2 3D foils. I pulled a Hyper Synchro and an Octo Rod Hyperpod and a Jump Jets that was misprinted. But that was the start of me buying booster packs on eBay. And so then I realized, okay, I can pull 3D foils out of these things. I'm not cursed like I thought I was. And that was a pretty monumental purchase for me there. And then a week after I bought that, I bought this lot. I had been negotiating with this seller for a long time he told me he had a ton of carded accelerators in a warehouse. And it turned out that he ended up having 90 total accelerators that were carded that I bought for $950. It came out to more like $1,000 or a little bit over that when it finally came time to purchase it. But 90 carded accelerators in one lot. These days, that is absolutely unheard of. And this is a purchase that really, I don't know if I made the right decision on by opening all these, because I did open all 90 of those Acceleracers cars. And I wish I could zoom into the picture and show you. There wasn't anything crazy rare. There was a reverb, but I told them that I didn't want the reverb because my goal was to open them up for cars, so I wanted them cheaper. But in this lot, there's 3 or 4 carbides, 3 or 4 battle specs, power rages, high voltage, cub light. It was, I have to say, I think it was probably 30 of the 36 cars over and over and over again. The big 6 were not in there, your RDO8s, Flat and Fury, Pile Driver. But almost every other car was in there at least 2 or 3 different times. I mean, at the time, getting them for about $1,000, I pulled probably, I want to say we pulled 16 or 17 foil cards. So we pulled a ton of good cards. And obviously the cars themselves alone, selling at about $8 to $10 a pop, were almost worth the money by themselves. So I did make a big profit off of those. But what could have been if I would have kept those 90 cars sealed to this day? I mean, these days power rages can sell for, $50 to $60. Battle specs are $50. Carbides are $30 to $40. I kick myself sometimes wondering, man, if I would list a lot of 90 sealed Acceleracers these days, I bet you it could fetch $3,000 to $4,000 with some of the cars inside. But you live and you learn. You made a profit at the time, but that was one that I was definitely kicking myself on looking back. What could have been with 90 sealed Acceleracers. So then just moving on here, $10 for a battery bubble, $12.50 for a reverb, just buying lots of carded Acceleracers for $9, $8 a piece. I mean, this was June of last year, so this is like a year ago, basically, that's getting these deals and this stuff. So it's crazy how the prices have jumped in a year. And this was a good one here. I bought 2 starter decks for $62.90. So an average of $31 a piece for 2 starter decks that these days are going for like $200 a piece. And this was an interesting one, getting these 2 starter decks. I bought them from Ireland. So it was my first time buying something from out of the country. But for 2 starter decks, I think one was like open and missing the synchro and one had the synchro. But for like $65 or $70 or whatever I ended up paying for it after taxes, it was a pretty good deal. Because at the time, my thought process was, if I can open a starter deck that I bought for $50 and sell the 80 cards for about $1 a piece, give or take, and the starter set case for $15 or $20 and the synchro for $40 or $50. At the time, they were only selling for $20 or $30 though. But I was like, I'll make a good $30 to $40 profit on these starter sets. So getting 2 of them for that cheap, it was pretty good. So for $65, I got 160 mint cards, 2 starter set cases, and a green synchro. That was a pretty good purchase in my opinion. And then the next purchase I made 4 days later probably was my biggest ever purchase and flip on eBay. It was absolutely a godsend for me at the time because I needed more capital to keep buying and selling Acceleracers products. But we're gonna have to save that one for next time. And because this video is already getting a little bit long, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this, taking a little bit of a look back. That was sort of the first half of 2020. So maybe I'll do a follow-up video showing that big purchase, my best purchase ever, in my opinion, that I made on eBay. And then some more for the second half of 2020, sort of like a 2020 year in review about, 7 months late. But like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, seeing some of the old purchases that I was making and just the value of some of the Acceleracers items back in the day. It was just a totally different world than it is now. I mean, you've got common cards selling for $25, $30. It is just, it's crazy. But like I said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash the like button on this video and then subscribe to the Acceleracers Sub for more Acceleracers related content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.